This is Glenn.
This is Amanda.
Rebecca.
Jen. Tony Ann.
And when we're not competing in the Main Street 16 Challenge,
we go geeking on Walt Disney World
with Curtis
and the whole
geeking family.
Great job, Glenn and Rebecca, Amanda, and Tony Ann. Congratulations on raising money for Give Kids the World. And check out the Disney Crush podcast if you'd like to hear a review of that trip from our friends. Hey, Disney Geeks. Curtis Stone here. Welcome to episode 618 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. This week, our longtime pal and listener, Kate Merrow, reviews her family's trip to California, Disneyland, Joshua Tree, and Grand Canyon National Parks. And I've been having fun talking and hanging out with friends like Kate, reviewing Disney parks and Disney World tips and hacks for over 11 years. We're independent Disney authorized travel guides with FTC Elite Travel. We'd love to be your Disney travel guides, help you book your room, tickets, and dining reservations. You'll notice many of the guests on the podcast book their trips, or they book their own trips and transfer them over to the Travelantiers. That's my wife, Margita. Her good friend, Auntie Judy. Get started by emailing them. travelantiers@gmail.com. Don't worry about remembering that or spelling it correctly. Just check the show notes on that podcast app that you listen to the show, or go out to our website. You'll see their email as well as mine. We'd love for you to reach out to us and talk to us about your adventures like Kate just did out in Disneyland, because we can book Disneyland and Disney cruises, Disney World, of course. Universal Studios, very popular. Just opening up, Epic Universe, even Disneyland Paris. We'd love to talk to you about your plans for all these adventures like Kate, exploring California, Disneyland, and camping at national parks. Staying at the Disneyland Resort, brand new DVC offering. I was really excited to hear about that. Exploring California and, national parks. Margita's even talked about that's something she would love to do. Warner Brothers tour, Santa Monica Pier on their first day of arrival. 4 nights at the Disneyland Resort. We get the details on that new resort. Checking out Hollywood Boulevard, Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, Downtown Disney, Splitsville, California Adventure, checking out the Lightning Lane strategies, and then one day using the Premier Pass. That's that new pass that Disney is offering. She's going to explain that to us. We're going to hear about our favorite attractions at Disneyland and California Adventure, delicious food highlights, camping at Joshua Tree National Park, and hiking around the Grand Canyon. She's got some great reflections, family adventures, and this was a senior trip for her son. Yeah, Kate goes from deluxe Disney digs to tent camping under the stars. Let's go with Kate from a senior graduation celebration adventure packed with park thrills, Hollywood sights, and epic national park escapes. Over the weekend, I realized I have no podcasts scheduled. That hasn't been a problem in 11 years of podcasting. For whatever reason, I didn't have anything scheduled. I was getting nervous, getting ready for a vacation to Disney World myself. I got to get rolling here, and reached out to a bunch of my friends, specifically Patreon supporters I sent emails out to. Got a really good response, and I'm so excited because, I don't know, I probably should have known this, but Kate Merrow is here. Hey, Kate.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, I recently went to Disneyland in California, and we did some other stuff in California as well.
I'd like to hear that, because I know I've been there, but you probably know it's been a long, long time. When I was back in college, Margita's never been there. It's something I really want to get out and do with her. But you always hear people say, 3 days, you probably could see everything. And if I'm going to go all the way across the country, I'm not going for 3 days. How long were you out there for?
Well, we left here on a Friday. We got there on a Friday. We were 4 nights at Disneyland Resort. Then we did some adventuring. We went to Joshua Tree, which is in California. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 hours away. Then we went to the Grand Canyon. And then we flew home from Salt Lake City. My daughter and I flew home from Salt Lake City. And my husband and son continued on for a few more nights.
How many nights total were you there?
We were
in California and Grand Canyon.
10 nights.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I'm really interested in the extra stuff, especially for Disneyland, what people would do. Would they do? I know I probably could do I know Margita could do the whole week at Disneyland.
Yeah. So this was a trip for my son. He's a senior. And back in the fall, we had said to him, what might you like to do for a senior trip? And he's very much an outdoorsy kid. And he took a little time and he thought about it. And he came back and said, well, I'd like to go to California, but I'd also like to do some national parks. My husband and I talked about it and talked about what might work. And so we thought, well, 4 nights in LA. And at first, I didn't expect him to even want to go to Disneyland as much as I would have loved to. Wouldn't
it be great to go to Disneyland for your...
Yeah, he didn't have that in his mind at first. But then he said, if you want to go to Disneyland, we can do one day in Disneyland. So I was like, great, sounds good. So that's how we did a split trip. We did 4 nights. We stayed on our DVC points. We stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, which was wonderful. And then we were able to do some national parks. It was a lot of fun. And I knew staying at the Disneyland Resort, we would still be able to go and do other things. We did a Warner Brothers tour. That was a lot of fun to see some different sets and costumes and stuff that over there. That was really neat. We ended up going to the Santa Monica Pier.
I want to go deep in all of these, Kate. So my first question is...
Oh, sure.
How difficult was it booking Disneyland Resort DVC? And what time of year were you going? When was the trip?
It was in April. It was actually over Easter weekend. I must have got on right around 7-month mark and I got a studio for us. I would have liked to have had a 1-bedroom just to have the washer and dryer right in the room and a little bit more space. But the studio was actually plenty of space for the 4 of us.
Great. So is that the new one?
Yeah. Yep.
When did that open? Remember? Right? Was it in December? My memories.
I think it's been open longer than that, but I don't know how long.
Less than a year, right?
Maybe right around a year.
Okay.
Maybe it was was it last summer?
I'm curious because Grand Californian, I've always heard is difficult to book.
Yeah.
I was wondering if with having 2 choices, if it's easier now for us to book at 7 months.
Yeah, I was able to get right on. And that was actually the first DVC trip I had booked once we got our DVC points.
Oh, your new DVC.
Yeah, just since September.
Okay. Fantastic. Good for you. So how many nights did you do?
We did 4 nights.
You did a list of things you did every day. Let's go day by day.
Okay.
So you get there. What time you get there on a Friday?
So we actually got in at 9:30 in the morning with the time change. We had a really early flight from Boston. We flew direct from Boston to LAX. I think we left Boston at 5:30. And so we got into LA. It was right around 9 or 9:30 their time. So we had all day to adventure.
I didn't just do the math, but how long was the flight?
I think it was 5 hours.
Okay. Yeah. What airline did you fly?
JetBlue.
Did you really? Yeah. Was it comfortable?
Very comfortable.
Nice.
Yep. I think I upgraded for the seats that had a little bit more room.
Yeah.
But
So it's direct.
nice.
Boston
Yep.
to LAX.
Yep.
No problems with the flight?
Nope. Easy.
So where did you transfer? How did you transfer over to, what's that, like an hour to Disneyland from LAX?
I think
More?
it's about an hour.
Traffic. I don't know.
We wanted my husband's truck with us. So my husband actually left a week before me and the kids left. So he took a week to drive out there from Maine.
Did he really?
He did.
He drove cross country. He wanted his truck out there?
Yep. We wanted his vehicle. He has a rooftop tent, and that's what we were going to be doing. After staying in a nice deluxe hotel we stayed, we did some tenting. Yep. So he took a week to get out there. He did make a few stops along the way. He had some long driving days, and then he had some shorter driving days with some hiking mixed in.
Wow.
As well.
Wow.
So he picked us up from the airport.
All by himself, he drove cross country.
He did.
Well, obviously he had to drive back.
Yep. On the return trip, it was a little bit shorter because he and my son drove all the way to Denver. So it was a little closer. And then on the way home, he just decided to drive straight through. So I think it took him 2.5 days to drive home from Denver.
Okay. Wow. Quite an adventure.
It was quite an adventure.
So how did you get from the airport? Oh, I'm sorry. You said that you got picked up.
Yep. He picked us up. And then we went to the beach straight from the airport.
Oh yeah. Which beach?
We went to the Santa Monica Pier.
Okay.
We just got right to checking things out. We didn't waste any time.
Right to tourism mode.
Yep.
There's a lot to
We
see
knew
in that
we only
area.
had a limited amount of time, and we wanted to pack in as much as we could.
Oh, so you're going hard the whole time.
The first bit we did go hard. Once we left LA, then we took a little bit slower. But those first 4 days were very packed.
We always say at Disney World, time is extremely fast. I got to believe it was pretty similar with all the touring you were doing.
Yes.
Flew by,
Yeah.
right? 10
It
days
did.
was like, before you knew it was over.
Yep. We went to the pier. I think we grabbed some burgers, hot dogs. There was like one place that was open because it was so early in the day. I think we were there at 10 o'clock. And then we headed to the Warner Brothers tour. I forget where that was. It was a little bit of a drive. I think it was like an hour from where we were.
Yeah. What's on the Warner Brothers tour?
They had a bunch of Harry Potter stuff. They had some superhero stuff to check out, costumes, different sets. And there's a driving tour out in the back area. You got to see where some different movies were filmed. Some of the Jurassic Park films, parts of it were back there. And they showed us how, like, you went around one outdoor scene set. It was like a swampy area. And you could see how you could film different types of films just around this one area. Like there was a spot where Little Rascals was filmed. And you could just see like the difference in the terrain as you went around this swampy area, how it could just be different films the whole time.
Transformed into... Yes,
Yeah.
I did the Universal Studio tour a long time ago. So is this a working studio, the Warner Brothers tour?
It is. There was no filming going on the day that we were there. So we got to see everything. We didn't have to, if they are working, then they do shut down certain areas, but nothing was being filmed. It was, I don't know if it was because it was Good Friday when we were there. It was right around Easter. So I don't know if that's why, but nothing was filmed. We drove through like a neighborhood or what could be used as a neighborhood in films. We got to see the sets from The Big Bang Theory and Friends.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. And some sets from some of the outside housing areas from the Gilmore Girls. It was neat. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you'd recommend that tour?
Absolutely.
It was
Yep.
fun. Yeah. I like that kind of stuff too.
It was a couple hours, and well worth it. We all really enjoyed that.
All right. And with that, did you check in at the Disneyland Resort?
Well, we were going to. So I also have a brother who lives out in LA, and we had talked about meeting up at some point, and we had talked about meeting up on Friday. We weren't sure where. So we were actually headed towards Disneyland when he said, "Hey, let's meet at Cheesecake Factory." And so we were like, okay. So we turned around, we got off the highway and went a different way back towards Santa Monica to meet him and his girlfriend.
Cool.
So we met up with them, had dinner, and then we went to the hotel.
My
So
memory
we
of
didn't get there until a little bit later.
my memory of Cheesecake Factory is there's always a long line. Did you find that to be true in California?
No, because of the time change, we were actually there pretty early. I think we met at 4:30 or something. So there was no line. Actually, and I think they made a reservation. We had a reservation.
Very
So
good.
it wasn't bad and it wasn't very busy. But we were early. So it
Outstanding.
worked out.
What time did you get to Disneyland Resort?
Probably 7 or 8.
All right. So a decent. Yeah. Not too late.
Yeah. And we were all exhausted
Hmm.
because our bodies were thinking it was much later than that. And we'd been up since probably 3:00 in the morning. So we went to the hotel, we checked in, and then we went to sleep. So we didn't really do much checking anything out.
Well, it's all brand new. What's your take on the Disneyland Resort now that
It
you've
was
stayed there?
absolutely beautiful. We would definitely stay there again.
And how is it located to the parks, Kate?
Walking distance. I timed it because I wanted to know how long it was going to take to walk to the park in the morning. So I think it was 7-minute walk to the
Yeah.
front of the gates.
Yeah.
And that was including going through security.
This has got to be a deluxe resort, and
Yeah.
not to be
Yeah.
Mr. Obvious.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely gorgeous. How was the room?
It was a nice studio room.
Yeah, you got a couple of queen beds.
It had a Murphy bed and then a regular queen bed. Had a little kitchenette, bathroom, obviously.
Any view outside the room?
We did have a resort view. So we were looking at the pools and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. How's the
Yeah.
pool at the Disneyland Resort?
It was very nice. We did go in the hot tub in the pool next day. A couple of the days we went in.
What's the theme? Is it looking at Disneyland and its history, kind of?
There were different towers. Each of the towers were themed to the different parts of Disneyland. There was the Adventure Tower.
Okay.
I think we were in the DVC Tower. I don't know if ours had a specific theme, but my husband went in search of, maybe he was just wandering around, and he said there were different replicas in the different towers. I forget what he said was next to us. Maybe
Okay.
the monorail. Maybe there was a monorail in one of the towers, a replica.
How big are these towers? How many stories?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Are they as tall
No.
as?
We were on like the 6th floor, so we weren't very high up at all.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think. How tall is Riviera or Grandestino?
Yeah.
22 floors? I'm guessing. That's my building at work. I don't even know. 17? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure.
What's Bay Lake Tower? Like 14? I don't know. We're going to mess people up if we try to guess.
I know, all are guessing.
I should know.
There is a Trader Sam's right at this resort.
Oh, is that new then? Because they got one. Where's the real Trader Sam's? Or the first one, the one we've known.
I think at the Disneyland Resort.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And so they had Trader Sam's, and then on the back side of Trader Sam's was what was it called? Something Tangaroa Terrace. You could get food. It was like a quick serve food place. We got food there a couple times.
How was the food there?
Very good. That had like a tropical kind of theme.
Nice. We always get reports from Disneyland. The food is outstanding.
Yeah, we had quick service at Disneyland 2 or 3. Or I guess maybe all of our quick services were at Disneyland. And the food is very good.
Yeah, anything that you could highlight that you really remember was great?
The Bengal barbecue,
Ooh.
which everybody recommended we try. And so we did. My daughter and I went and got it for myself, and she tried it. And then for dinner, she's like, I want to go to that Bengal barbecue where you got food. I want to get that same food you got. So
What did you get?
I got 1 beef stick and 1 chicken. It was like a Polynesian kind of chicken. And then the beef, there's a spicy version and a non-spicy version. I didn't get the spicy version. I get the non-spicy. They were both really good. But they had bacon wrapped asparagus, and they had veggies, and they had all sorts of stuff you could get.
Mm-hmm.
But that was very good.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah. Simple grilled meats. They cook it right there.
Love it. All right, I'm going to go into Saturday. You went to the tar pits.
We did. We went over to I think it's La Brea tar pits. Yeah. It was fun. It was neat to check out.
That's dinosaurs, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then they do have some old tar pits that you can wander around. They're gated, of course, so you can't get in, but
you walked around in the tar pits?
Around them.
Bare feet?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that was neat.
So what are what is this? It's called La Brea. I remember from school days hearing about this.
All sorts of animals, or dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, they all died there because they walked in.
How large of an area is it, Kate?
Well, there was one that was there it was this, I don't know, looked like a small pond.
Okay.
Size. But then there were some other areas that were gated off that looked like puddles to me, but it's just old tar.
Okay. So did they have dinosaur bones on display?
Yeah.
Lots of that. Yeah. How much time did you spend there?
Maybe an hour and a half or so.
Okay. That sounds like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that. I like that one, though.
We're members at the Boston Museum of Science, and they have a program. It's called like a reciprocal program. So we actually got in for free.
Oh,
because we had our membership with the Museum of Science. So that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't expensive. I think it was maybe $15 a person. So it wasn't bad, but it was nice to not have to pay.
They have exhibits that they change in and out.
I don't know if they had changeable exhibits, but they had some stuff inside the museum to look at, and then you could wander around outside.
So real property, big property. It's in Los Angeles area?
Yes. It was closer to the Hollywood Boulevard area.
All right. Well, what did you do in Hollywood Boulevard? I see that next on your list.
We looked at all the different stars on the ground. We wandered around.
The real Chinese Grumman Theater.
Yeah, we went to the Chinese theater. We didn't go inside. We just checked it out from the outside, but we looked at all the handprints and footprints, and we strolled up and down the street. We did go to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. That was fun to check out.
Absolutely. What was the weirdest thing you saw there?
Oh my gosh, there's so many weird things.
Hard to pick one, huh?
It is hard to pick one. Everything was weird.
Think of one.
Gosh, you put me on the spot. I should have prepared. I forgot we had gone there until
This came to you.
It just came to me. Oh, you know what? They had coffins that were shaped like bizarre things. Like they had a giant shoe that was a coffin for a child.
Okay.
And I forget what else they had, but they had the tallest person, and then you could stand beside him, and he would stand up and he would sit down. Compare your sizes to him.
How tall was he? Remember?
Let's see. He was 8 feet 11 inches.
Wow. Nearly 9 feet tall.
Yep.
Incredible. Good job.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was fun.
My wife would love that. My kids would love that.
Yeah. We just happened to be walking by, and my son was like, oh, that might be cool to check out.
For
and
sure.
Years ago, my husband and I did go to the Ripley's, believe it or not, that's in Orlando. But that was, we didn't have the kids with us then.
Is there still one there in Orlando?
I think so. I don't know if it's still there.
Interesting. I never heard that.
That
Okay. Now, you said you drove through Beverly Hills. I've done that too. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Not just wandering around, looking at the houses. We'd see a house for sale. We'd plug it in and see how many millions of dollars it was.
Aren't those roads really windy too? And you feel like you're going fast, but you're going about 20 miles an hour because you're
up in the hills. And there was another road that we went down called Mulholland Drive. It's a famous road. I don't know what it's famous for, but
I know it was in a Tom Petty song.
Yes. So we drove down part of that. That was a long winding road. And of course it's along like a cliff area. So that's scary.
How was the weather the whole time?
The weather it was actually decent weather. It wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold.
Yeah.
It was comfortable.
Kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we're from Connecticut and Maine, so anything is going to be better than that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been cold here cold and wet, right? Kate?
Cold and rainy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like down there, but yesterday and today up here have been perfect weather.
Oh, good. Yeah, we had a good day today. Then you got back down to downtown Disney.
Yes. So that was really the first time we got to check out Disney stuff. We got back to the hotel and then we went to Splitsville for dinner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that quite favorably for dinner and eats here in Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So
we'd never been there, and we were wandering through. We didn't have any dining reservations because we didn't know what our plan was. And we thought, okay, well, let's see if they have any reservations open. And they're like, oh, sure, we can seat you right now.
Yeah, I wonder, because I always think from listening to folks come on the show, I suppose you have to do, or you probably recommended to do ADR still, but it's definitely a locals hangout place. And I don't know. Do you think you need reservations at a lot of places? Probably.
At some of them you do.
Sure.
Because there was a couple places inside the park that I've heard that you need reservations for, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was dining available. Even, is it Goofy's Kitchen that's at the Disneyland Resort? I'm pretty sure they still had, and it's a character meal, they still had openings while we were there. Neither one of my kids wanted to do a character meal, so we didn't entertain it. But when I was looking through what might be available, that would come up still.
How was the food at Splitsville?
It was really good. We've never eaten at the one in Disney Springs, but now my daughter wants to go there. She had a Hawaiian pizza that she absolutely loved. And I had a sushi poke bowl. And I think my son had something like that too.
I was thinking sushi when you said Splitsville.
It was really good.
I've heard people say they've had the best sushi at Splitsville. It doesn't make sense, right? You think of a bowling alley.
I know.
You don't first think of
what you think, but
you don't think of great food.
It was delicious. We all really enjoyed our meal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is that you just went to eat, no bowling?
No bowling. We ate and then we wandered through downtown Disney, see where everything was.
How would you compare that to Disney Springs?
Very similar, a lot smaller. Not as many stores, not as many restaurants, but very comparable, like the layout and everything.
Outdoor music? Entertainment?
I think so. I think there was some. Probably not as much.
Yeah. You would definitely recognize it in Disney Springs because it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
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 Very cool. Like that. Were you starting to settle into your resort by this time? Did you have a nice sleep next night?
Yes. Yes, we did. And I think we went back and got in the pool.
Oh, God.
After we wandered through, we went back to the hotel and went for a swim.
Does the pool have a theme?
I don't think so. I think the slide was, I want to say the slide was a monorail.
Okay.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
That makes sense. That's a theme.
Yeah. But the pool was nice. And there was more than one pool. There was an area just for DBC members with a pool and a hot tub. And then there was a bigger pool for everybody else.
Now, on Sunday, speaking of Splitsville, you and your daughter split with your husband and son.
We did. One of the things he really wanted to do, it's called Peterson Auto Museum. And they have, hundreds and hundreds of cars, old cars.
Okay.
And I had done it before with my husband, and I didn't have any desire to go, and my daughter has no interest. And so I was like, okay, what would you like to do for the day? I said, we're on our own. And so I said, if you want to do 2 days at the parks, we can do that, or we can find something else to do. And she liked the idea of going to the parks. So she and I went and we started at California Adventure because they opened early. The difference is for resort guests, only one of the parks is open early at a time. So California Adventure was going to be open for early entry. So we started there, I think just a half an hour early.
30?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went there and we started wandering around. It was fun.
I think you messaged me. You used their Premier Pass Lightning Lanes, or what did you do?
We used Lightning Lane. Her and I used the Lightning Lanes on Sunday. But then on Monday, when the whole family went, we did use the Premier Pass.
All right.
Well, because I knew that we were only going to have 1 day. And I knew that I was going to lose my son. He would eventually peter out and not want to continue on. So I talked it over with my husband because it was quite a splurge to do it. And I also knew we wouldn't have any fun if we were sitting on our phones trying to make lightning lanes all day. I knew that wouldn't be good. This way we could relax. Yeah. And we did. We got to the park. I think we got to the park at 8:00. We started at Disneyland. They weren't opening early, but we started at Disneyland. We got there when it opened. We had breakfast. We didn't even go to ride. We didn't run to any rides because in talking with my son before the trip, those are things that he didn't like. He doesn't want to have to get there any earlier than he doesn't want to rope drop. He doesn't want to be running to rides. Those were things that bothered him going in the past. So we were like, okay, we'll step back and not have to do that. So it really did give us a chance to explore both parks. And we rode just about every single ride that's included with Premier Pass, except for Tiana's. And there was a raft ride over in California Adventure. None of us felt like getting wet and being in wet clothes. And it wasn't super hot that we were going to just dry right away. So we opted not to do those.
So you did pretty much all the rides in both parks on the Premier Pass.
their Premier Pass, a lot of the Fantasyland rides are not included. We did wait for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and we did wait for a Pinocchio Dark Ride, but my kids didn't care about going into the Fantasyland area anyway.
Right.
So it worked out. It was fine. And we got to start, like, we went into the park, we went into Tomorrowland. We did all of Tomorrowland before we moved on. That was nice to be able to not have to make any reservations, just did the lands as we got to them. We stopped and had lunch when we were hungry. And then we did one whole park, and then we moved on to California Adventure.
So pretty much no wait in the line.
No.
Skip the lines.
Yep.
Were you booking it all on your phone? No, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. You just walk up.
Yeah.
And
so that's a tier above, right? This Premier Pass.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
Yeah. All right. I remember this now.
It's not cheap.
We're doing this at Disney World too.
It was well worth it. My husband and I talked about it afterwards, and we both agreed that it was definitely well worth the expense to be able to enjoy that time in the park.
And for one day, you were able to get it all in.
Yeah.
Meet your goal of being able to do other things other than Disneyland and California Adventure like your son wanted to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was
well
nice.
done. I'm not surprised.
And we did get there when the park opened, but we didn't stay super late. I think we were done by 6:00.
Wow.
Which was fine because he had hit his point where he was ready to be done. I did make them go back over to, we couldn't find any photo pass photography people. They're not as abundant as they are in Disney World.
Okay.
We couldn't find anybody in California Adventure. So with Premier Pass, you get photo pass. And so I said, well, we're going to get some pictures because I need to get some pictures of the four of us while we're there. So I made them all go back over to Disneyland, and we took some pictures in front of the train station.
Okay.
So at the entrance.
Boy, don't I know how difficult it is to get your family all together to take a picture. Because remember one particular time when the kids were little, I said, I don't care what we do. This is my one thing. I want a picture in front of the weenie for every single 4 parks. And that, Kate, was one of the hardest things to accomplish in the whole trip.
I'm not surprised.
Right?
I know. We did some. So before we left Disneyland, we did take some pictures with the castle in the background. And then I was hoping to find something over at California Adventure, but I didn't see anybody. By the time we were looking for picture people, I didn't see anybody by the entrance.
Wow.
So I was like, well, let's go back over and we'll get some different pictures in a different spot.
So what are your favorite attractions from? Give me a couple from both parks.
I really like I'm a big fan of Tower of Terror. So I really did like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like that answer.
Layover. I also liked the Spider-Man ride they have over there. It's interactive. That's a lot of fun.
What kind of ride is that, Kate? That's new, the Marvel section.
It is. You get in a vehicle. You're supposed to be shooting these spider bots. So you use your hands and shoot the spider bots. I had a lot of fun doing that.
So is it like...
It's Toy Story Mania.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Buzz Lightyear, but yeah, I get you. Okay. It's like an arcade kind of game.
You're using your hands to shoot.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And have detects.
You're throwing spider webs on people? On
things? Yeah. And
people.
Shooting the spider bots.
What's a spider bot?
I don't know. These little bots, robots that look like spiders.
Okay. Gotcha. Spider bot. That makes sense. That's fun.
And then over in Disneyland, Pirates is cool, and Haunted Mansion. Of course, we have those. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride's always fun to check out.
Yeah, I've always heard good things about that one too.
So we think that Space Mountain is rough. The Matterhorn is I think it's even worse.
Good to know.
It's rough.
I'm glad.
It was fun. I did do it both days. My daughter wanted to do it both days, but that's rough. She wanted to do it a second time, and I said, "You can do it all you want. I will not be joining you."
In Connecticut, we have Lake Compounce, which is one of the oldest amusement parks in the country, and they have one of the oldest wooden coasters. And rough would be the words I would describe it. That's what I thought of when you said that.
Yeah, it's just so rickety.
A little unnerving.
But it's fun. It's nice to go on. I don't know if it's an original ride, but I know it's been there for a long time.
Right. That's right. That's the cool part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. You did cover a couple of food things. We already talked about Bengal barbecue. Pim's Test Kitchen.
Pim's Test Kitchen. That's over in the Avengers campus. We did breakfast there. My daughter and I did breakfast there on the day we went, the two of us. I think she got some French toast with it had boba pearls on it. And I had some eggs, I think. Eggs and toast. They do things very different. Like we got a gigantic pretzel. It fed the four of us the next day.
Wow. At the Pim's Test Kitchen. Yeah, I see that on your list.
It was pretty big.
I like that.
And some drinks. So that was a lot of fun. Where else? Oh, we did breakfast the four of us did breakfast at Jolly Holiday. I think we just got some breakfast sandwiches there. I think it was like an egg and bacon and croissant breakfast sandwiches.
Is that like a Mary Poppins theme?
It was Mary Poppins themed. Yeah.
Ah, look at me with the trivia.
Yeah. And they also have this snack that's really good. It was a macaron, Mickey shaped, and it had fresh raspberries in it.
Yummy.
It was really good.
I was going to say, you got one there. Go ahead.
Got one before we left the park. And then my daughter, after we did our pictures, my daughter was like, "Can we go back and get one of those?" I said, "Sure." So we went back for some more.
Always fun to get the highlights, do a redo on the favorites.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of food things we missed because now I was watching something on YouTube recently. I was like, "Oh man, I missed that. Well, I'll just have to go back."
I was going to say, I was reading your churro toffee that you had.
Yes. So that was a request from Holly. That was another thing the geeks had said, "You've got to try." And I've heard about it from Samantha, Coon, and Rebecca, and Glenn, and and Andy told me about this churro toffee. And so I was planning on checking it out. And then Holly said, "Do you mind bringing me home some churro toffee?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So that we went on a mission to get some churro toffee. I think we did it on the day that my daughter and I went. We went to the park and then we went back to the hotel and took a pool break because it was hot in the middle of the day. And so before we left the park, we grabbed the churro toffee.
Is that difficult to bring back for Holly?
It was, I brought it back for Holly. Yeah. I had a piece for myself and then I brought her 2 pieces.
Does it survive the trip back? I guess
it did.
It looks okay.
Absolutely.
I don't even know what this
Wasn't
is.
Sure. It was like there were squares like that.
Fudge?
Nope. It was a piece of toffee, like hard, crunchy toffee.
Yeah.
And then it was covered in, I don't know, chocolate, like a white chocolate. And then it was rolled in cinnamon sugar, I think.
Is that the churro part?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
sounds intriguing and yummy. That's for sure.
I put it right in a baggie and I was like, I hope it makes it back to Holly because
did she like it?
With all of our adventuring, I didn't know. And I put it in with my stuff and it was perfectly fine.
Was she excited for her churro toffee when you got back?
She was. And I don't know if she still has some because she said she was just taking small nibbles. But a couple weeks after she had it, she said she still had a bunch. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Leave it to our geeks to ask you to bring back some for them.
I know. And I could have brought back more. I just didn't I only brought her a couple pieces.
We have heard the snacks and treats are really good at Disneyland.
Yeah. Yep, we had some good food.
You also had a Hungry Bear barbecue. Is that
We
different than
did.
Bengal barbecue?
We ate it. Yeah, that was more like your traditional barbecue. I think we had pulled pork sandwiches. I know that's what I had pulled pork. My son had pulled pork. I think my husband had like maybe a beef. And I think my daughter had chicken nuggets because that's how she rolls.
Chicken nuggets at the barbecue place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She does like barbecue, but I'm pretty sure she might have had chicken nuggets.
Good. And then Tangora Terrace?
Yeah. That was right at the hotel. We had dinner there after we did our Disneyland day on Sunday, or Monday, rather. We ate there right at the hotel. Their food was really good. I had a giant salad. I think my son had poke bowl. He loves poke. I think my husband had a burger and my daughter did the teriyaki chicken.
You think the vegetables and fruits are better at California and Florida for that matter?
I think so.
Yeah,
Everything's so fresh.
I would think.
Yeah.
I do salads on my better days. I do them every day for lunch, but I don't know. They're coming in from who knows where for how long.
I always feel like salads on vacation, they just taste better than anything I make at home.
Okay. Yeah. We're too far away from the source.
Probably.
I don't know how they keep anything decent by the time it gets to us.
I know.
Fantastic.
I know. Then we had breakfast there the next day, and I was really excited because I really like the macadamia nut pancakes that they have at Kona Cafe at the Polynesian, and they were called tropical pancakes, and they were macadamia nut pancakes, but then I think they had coconut in them as well. So that was good. That was a nice treat.
What do you put on macadamia nut pancakes? Just put maple syrup.
They had something to put on. They had some sort of a sauce that it came with.
That's one thing my mom was always known for. We used to get her macadamia nuts for Christmas because they're expensive.
They are
At
expensive.
least they were. I can remember that being a treat. To get a jar, and there was always like a little small jar.
Yeah.
She loves macadamia
That
nuts.
food was really good. And then we packed up and headed towards Joshua Tree.
What is Joshua Tree? I know the album from U2, but that's about I don't even know what that's. Why that's.
It is a national park, and they have these trees. I don't even know how to describe
They're unique.
them. But
Yeah, I know what
they're very unique looking trees, and they're called Joshua trees. They were actually named. Yeah, they were named by the Mormons because they looked like Joshua when he was, I don't know, in a certain position. I don't know.
Where was this park? Where were you? What state are you in now with Joshua?
In California.
It's in California. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the town, but it wasn't. I think we drove two to 3 hours. We did stop at the grocery store because once you get in to the park, there's nothing.
And that's a national park?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we stayed right in there.
Is it large? So you can do some hiking or?
We did some hiking. We stayed at a campground. I think it was called like Big Rock Campground or something. And my son said he's done a lot of camping. He's a scout and he's done tons of camping. He said it was probably the coolest place he's ever camped.
Oh, wow.
This campground. And it was all giant rocks all around us.
What do you think made it the coolest campground from an experienced camper's perspective?
Good question. He really enjoyed it. There's people do a lot of stargazing because it's so clear. He did both nights that we were there, he did set up his camera to take pictures overnight. So he got some really cool pictures of stars and the scenes around us. We did some off-road driving down some trails that was really neat to drive through the desert areas because it's just a giant desert.
Okay.
We saw coyotes. There was actually a coyote that was right in our campground, just wandering through.
It's a little unnerving.
It was a little
Maybe.
unnerving.
You're probably used to people, though, if it's in a campground.
Yeah. And we saw them running around in the desert as well.
How big are they?
Probably 60, 70 pounds.
Oh, that's a big one.
They look like a dog.
That's a good size.
Yeah.
I think it's ones that we've seen around. The local towns around here have had some problems with coyotes. But they always look smaller dogs to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see them growing big out there.
Yeah, they do. We also did some hiking out in the desert. That was fun. Just checking things out and
It's comfortable.
looking around.
So you went from Disneyland 5-star
Deluxe resort.
to camping behind the truck in a tent.
Yep.
Your son probably liked that better than Disneyland Hotel.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was ready to be done with the city once we left.
I get that. I like the outdoors too. And Grand Canyon. Had you been there
Yeah.
before?
We had not been there before. We initially had planned to camp, but while we were out there, I think it was while we were still in Disneyland, my husband had been checking the weather, and it was supposed to be in the 20s the nights that we were at the Grand Canyons.
Wow.
So we ended up staying in a hotel.
Okay.
He didn't think that my daughter and I would make it in the campground. So that's fine. It was fine. It was chilly when we went outside. I'm not sure how I would have tolerated sleeping.
But was the canyon grand? I've never seen that. I've heard great things. Did you go down in the canyon?
We did not go in. We did a trail walk along the edge. I think it was about 12 miles.
That's
12 or 14 miles along the edge. We were on the south rim, and we started at like the visitor center. There were you could either take a shuttle to some different stops, or you could hike along the edge. I did a good chunk of the hiking along the edge. I left my family and did take the shuttle a couple times. They walked the whole time we were heading to a certain point. And then once we got to that point, then we took the shuttle back to the visitor center. We didn't walk the 14 miles back, but.
Are these guided tours?
No. Nope.
Just hike them on your own. Okay.
Just hike on your own. Yeah. I can't remember how many stops they had. They had a decent number of stops that you could, like shuttle stops that you could pick up the shuttle. You could get off. You could walk around the area and get back on the shuttle if you wanted. I want to say I did probably 10 miles of it.
Yeah,
I was pleased with how I did.
Was it hot or cold or?
It was a little warm during the day. Once the sun went down, it cooled right off, but it was pretty warm during the day.
Well, you're in shape from doing Disney World.
I am.
You go full stink. You can do it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, this was a great trip report. I love this.
Yeah.
I love the idea of seeing other things besides the parks. And that's something I think anyone who's going, especially to Disneyland, like I said, many people will say, good 3, maybe 4 Disneyland is all you need. But let's go all the way out there and just do that.
Right. Yeah. Give us a good chance to explore some other areas. Maybe if we were doing it a little bit differently and we would have stayed in LA for a week, but not gone to Disneyland the entire time. But this wasn't our trip. This was my son's senior trip. This is what he wanted to do. So even after the Grand Canyon, they drove us all the way to Salt Lake City. That's where my daughter and I flew home from there. And then he and my husband continued on to Moab and did some off-roading and some more hiking while they were out there. It just gave us a good chance to do a mixture of things.
Did you get a chance to ask him what his favorite part of the trip was and what he thought overall of the whole experience?
He told my husband that on their way back, he said, "Oh, Dad, thank you so much. I had so much fun." I think he liked the hiking portion the best, when he could get outside and do all the outdoorsy things that he likes to do. He really did want to go to LA. So I think he really wanted to go to the auto museum. I think that was his main reason for wanting to go to LA and to see my brother. He was excited about that too. So I think those would probably be the highlights of the trip for him.
How about you? What was your favorite part?
Besides Disneyland, because that's always fun, I really liked our time at Joshua Tree. It was relaxing. There was 0 cell service. So we played some card games. We read. We relaxed by the campfire. I do the hustle and bustle of Disney, but I also like that, being able to unwind and unplug from the world.
That's interesting. We are so plugged in more than ever because of the cell phone invention. We don't even know it. I really like that answer. Unplug and see if you can, especially as a family.
Yeah. When you get to the entrance of the national park and they say, "Do you know where you're going? Do you know what your campsite is?" And they say, because you're going to lose service halfway there. So they want to make sure you know where you're supposed to be, where, if you have reservations. And sure enough, we lost service and it was fine. It was great.
No GPS. You got to do it the old school way.
I think my husband already downloaded the map on his phone. Right. So we had the map, but it wasn't that difficult to get there. I think there was just one road going through, and then we just pulled off when we got to the campsite we were going, or the campground that we were going to.
I'm sure
what I thought was funny was April. You think April, especially in the Northeast when you're camping, that's like early season. Campers are now all over the place. We were there at the last week of their season.
Okay.
They said, because we chatted quite a bit with there is somebody that stays there all in their busy season. And she said that she was leaving the following week and that this was their busy season was over. Their busy season is around Christmas.
Interesting. Not summer.
Yeah. Nope. She said because it gets too hot in the summer, people don't go camping. Especially where they have no amenities. If people don't have air conditioning, they're not going to want to go camping in the desert. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. I wouldn't have even thought about it. She said there are some people that do go out there around Memorial Day, around the 4th of July. They do have some reservations, but they don't have a staff member. It's just the park rangers that will go to all the different campgrounds that they have.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
To learn.
I didn't even think about that until she was explaining it to us.
How would you know?
Yeah.
Unless you experience it directly. I love that, Kate.
Yeah.
What a fantastic trip report. I love this. I'm sure everyone enjoyed such a broad range of different things you guys did.
Yeah. And I said to my husband, because I figured that's a lot of driving, going all the way from Maine to LA and
it is.
Back again. And I figured he's never going to want to do this again. I said, this is probably the one chance. And he got back and I said, so how was it? How was it driving? He said, it was fine. I said, are you ever going to want to do it again? He said, absolutely.
That was one of those, I've been giving this a lot of thought myself, doing like a cross country camping or however to do it. And it sounds really exotic or adventurous. And then I'm wondering, I know how much I hate driving. I wonder if I'd have to do it in short spurts. I don't really like driving long, but yeah. So you answered my question. I'm glad he.
Yeah, he said he enjoyed it and he would do it again. Most of his days, he didn't drive the entire day. The first couple he did, like the first day, I think he went from Maine to almost to Ohio.
I was thinking that same thing because if there's a place I can get to in a reasonable amount of time, why would I even want to stop there? I want to go like farther out where I wouldn't even normally go.
So he made it all the way to Ohio on the first day. And then by the second day, I think he made it to Missouri by the end of day 2. And then he slowed down and did a little bit.
Sightseeing.
Yeah. I know in Missouri, he went for a hike and I can't remember all the other stops he made, but he did go check out some museums and some different things along the way.
Awesome.
And he made it to, and I'm not even sure where it is, but he did make it to the petrified forest and he checked that out. So yeah, he did do a lot of other things other than just driving.
Really interesting, Kate. Thanks for responding to my email and coming on. I'm so glad I got a chance to cover this with you. This has been fun.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You got anything planned in the future?
Oh, I always have stuff planned. My daughter and I are heading down we're only doing 2 Disney World days. She's dancing at a national dance convention in Orlando the week of July 4th. So we're headed down on Saturday. We're going to stay 2 nights at Animal Kingdom Lodge and do a couple park days before we go over to the hotel where the convention is. It's right next to Disney Springs. And everybody tells me we can walk to Disney Springs. So it's not too far away.
Good. Awesome.
But that's our next adventure.
Love it. Well, I hope I get to see you again during some of our adventures. Cross paths again.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thanks again for coming on and stay in touch. All right.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Thanks, Kate, for an awesome trip report. I'd love if more of you reach out to me and come on the podcast. I did an email this past weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. I didn't have anything scheduled for trip reports. You may know I'm going to Disney World June 7th through the 14th. I got to record 3 episodes and edit and get them all staged and ready to go before my trip so I don't miss a week. I was getting a little bit nervous, but would you believe I had, 7 of my listeners respond to that email? Booked them all out. I have an author who had reached out to me, and then someone, I think, just emailed me and wasn't a response to that email. So I've got lots of trip reports and other kinds of content coming to you in the next couple of months from that one reach out to everyone. But yeah, definitely reach out to me. I can always schedule something, and some of the folks are going to be doing some July trips. So I'm excited to talk to you all about your exciting trips. And when I get back, we'll review our trips with Judy and Ken and Margita. Hopefully Wendy can interview me on my trip report. So thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to be a Patreon supporter, go out to patreon.com, look for Geekin' on WDW. Appreciate everyone who supports the podcast with a little donation to the show every single month. I appreciate you guys. And those of you who book with the Travel and Tiaras, Margita and Judy, you can still email them because they'll be working while they're on vacation. They'll respond to you. I'm pretty sure they always do. We're always at a lounge or having something to eat and they're talking shop. But it's all about Disney World, so isn't that great? And I'd love to have some more intros. Anytime you guys are in the parks or you just have an idea or you're new and you want to hear yourself on the podcast, send me in an intro. Just record it on your phone. You can email it to me, kurt.stone@geekinonww.com. You can message to me in Facebook. Anyway, tell us your name, where you're from, a fun Disney World fact or 2 about yourself. You go Geekin' on Walt Disney World with Curtis. And the whole Geekin' family, yeah, I'd love have those intros and play at the beginning of the show. And as I said, June 7th through the 14th, I'll be in Disney World. Several listeners have reached out to us. We're going to be meeting up with folks from the podcast down in Disney World. Definitely, if you've never met me, don't be shy. Please tap me on the shoulder. Say, hey, Kurt, Are you the guy from that Geeking on Walt Disney World podcast? I love that. I love seeing you guys. I'll make every effort to see you, if I can, while I'm in the parks, because we're committed to helping you enjoy your Disney World vacations and Disneyland. Reach out to me if you'd like to do a trip report, book a trip, review plans for your trip. Kurt.stone@geekinonww.com. Thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every single day. We love you, geeks. Keep taking care of each other. Have a magical day. And I hope all your dreams come true.